so this is T-9 of the final countdown. Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-da-da. So 9 days till the election. This is kind of a fact check presentation of the stuff I've been compiling. A lot of others are doing it as well. I keep all my facts on the website C.R.A.P. now.org, crapnow.org. It's a crazy name. C.R.A.P. is my term for a comprehensive reform of American politics, so a little bit silly, but that's it. But anyway, if you click on the facts button, that's where the full facts file is, and some of the videos kind of doing fact checks as well. So anyway, this one is T-9. This one's focusing on the 60 Minutes interview with Leslie Stahl. It was conducted about a week ago, but since it aired, that's going to be our T-9 one. And really, I guess the number one thing in this has to do with healthcare and the lack of a healthcare plan. So you'll hear her ask about that, and there's some history behind this. He's been promising a healthcare plan from the very outset of the presidency. Never has happened. It's always weeks away or months away, or it's in the works, and no one knows about this except for him, because he's the one who's saying this stuff. So in the most recent ones, I would say in July with the Chris Wallace interview, July 17th, he said, well, when pressed, he said it'll be released and issued in 2 weeks. So that would be July 31st, and it is now end of October, so no sign of that. So anyway, here's something, the clip, and then there's a unique element after the 60 Minutes interview.
You promised that there was going to be a new health package, a health care plan.
Yeah.
You said that it was going to be great. You said it's ready, it's going to be ready. It'll be here in 2 weeks. It's going to be like nothing you've ever seen before, and of course we haven't seen it. So why didn't you develop a health plan?
It is developed. It is fully developed. It's going to be announced very soon when we see what happens with Obamacare. A new plan will happen.
But will.
And we won't do anything will and is.
That's him saying that it's in the works, and Leslie saying, no, well, why don't you show us? Essentially, after Trump cut the interview short because he didn't like how it was going, his press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, did present the health care plan, the first time we've ever seen it. So she came up to Leslie Stahl, handed her a large volume of papers, or a bound set of papers, and said, President Trump wanted me to give you the health care plan. I would say nobody knows that was going to happen except for them. There is no health care plan in it. The basic 60 Minutes reviewed it, and it's just a series of the executive orders and congressional communiques on health care. So it is not a plan. And I'm not being overly critical. If they have a plan, that's great. Let's just see it. But obviously it's a falsehood that's been perpetrated over years. And if you can imagine, anyone with a normal job, if your boss asked you to give a report and you waited for 4 years and then gave him a compendium of related emails and discussion topics about making a report, you'd either be removed from the job or from that position or whatever. So pretty silly stuff on a major issue. So that's that. The next item is one of his greatest hits, which is Obama spied on me. That is actually proven false. That is, there's a variety of those elements, but you can hear him being questioned on that here.
So
the biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
There's
Leslie.
no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes. And we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
Well, we can't verify that.
It's been totally verified.
No.
It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
No.
And then they went much further than that, and they got caught. And you will see that, Leslie, and you know that, but you just don't want to put it on the air.
As a matter of fact, I don't know that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is not true that Obama spied on him, and it is not. They did not commit a crime, nor did Biden. There was investigations, and there was surveillance done on a variety of folks that were connected to the campaign, but that was not spying on the Trump campaign. Basically, there's been DOJ reports recently indicating that, and FBI did not surveil people unjustifiably. People do question on how the I guess, the approval to surveil what happened, and that there are some questions on that. But basically, the DOJ said there was no wrongdoing there. There's been multiple independent investigations saying the same thing, and the surveillance targeted 4 people in the Trump administration, and but that did not mean it was spying on the Obama administration, essentially. So everything was proven to be legitimate, unless proven otherwise. So then the next item would be, let's see, what is the next item? Rally sizes, we've got to like that one. So that's also another common one. I'll let you hear this.
Take a look. Yesterday, we were in Arizona, record-setting rallies, numbers of people like nobody's seen before.
You used to have bigger rallies.
No, these are much bigger than I ever had.
I don't want to bicker over that.
You know,
Tell me about the mask wearing.
You're so negative. These are the biggest rallies we've ever had. You just come in here with that negative attitude. These are the biggest rallies we've ever had.
Okay, rally sizes, well, or crowd sizes, that's a common, bragging point from Trump. It's just part of his character, that he needs to show that there's more people watching a show or more people watching his events than the other, and then that, in his mind, I believe, proves that he's better. If there's more people at his rally, that means he is better than the opponent who has less people at their rally. In previous times, there's definitely a lot of enthusiasm, highly attended rallies, more so than any of his opponents. But that is not an indicator of who's a better candidate necessarily. And in current times, we're dealing with COVID, and they basically do it with a pretty much disregard for the social distancing and the mask wearing and those types of concepts. So even when Trump or Obama as a surrogate or somebody else has a rally, they do it with social distancing and masks and all that. The Trump rallies are not done that way. They have a stage behind them that's in the camera view, and they have all those people masked with Trump promotion masks. But everyone else in the crowd is all together, and it's basically commonly reported that there is very little mask wearing and no social distancing occurring. So naturally, they're going to have a higher likelihood for a higher crowd. However, still bragging about he's bragging about himself against himself. He still has the biggest crowd rallies ever now than he did before. Well, that's may or may not be true. They're not open on the data really, and some of the recent stuff, where he says there's 35 to 40,000. Those counts are not verified, and then his campaign denies requests to get that additional information. So it is actually a totally meaningless point. The only reason I put it in here is it's just a common lying tactic on something that has no bearing. It's not even important. I mean, if you're going to lie about something that is important, but a rally size, it's not a big deal. It basically has to do with ego and narcissism and that kind of stuff. So it's just a strange fact. Okay, the last item then is about Governor Whitmer from Michigan, and then some of the accusations about, I guess some of the lock her up type of things. I'll play it and then give you some of the basics.
Drive.
But do you think that when you hold rallies and encourage people to say lock her up the way you...
I don't encourage them. They say it.
And you
Hillary
enjoy
Clinton,
it. You
let
don't
me
say
just
don't
say,
do
Hillary
that.
Clinton,
You want to lock
and
her
by
up.
the way, that's other... Of course I don't want to lock her up. Why would I lock her up?
Because you were in front of a rally of people saying it, encouraging it.
Leslie, it's such a vicious thing you just said. I never said lock up the governor of Michigan. I would never say that.
Do you?
You got to get your governor to open up your state, okay? Lock him. Lock them all up.
I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not. No?
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with.
Okay, so the background is Governor Whitmer was criticized for shutting down the state of Michigan, and got a lot of, outcry from conservatives who didn't like that. Trump is very vocal on that. That's not a crime. That is fine. But there subsequently was an FBI raid where they rounded up people who were actually conspiring to kidnap and or maybe murder Governor Whitmer. So certainly some people were taking things into their own hands seriously. Thankfully that was stopped. However, still in rallies now, Trump does allow this to happen, where it goes back to the 2016 Hillary Clinton stuff of lock her up. So yes, so he is true. He did not say lock her up. His crowd started saying that because that's one of their chants, and then he eggs them on by kind of doing his theatrics and not disavowing that like McCain had done one time when somebody said something negative about Obama in a town hall. So so he's allowing it to occur, and then he kind of contributes to it. He didn't say lock her up, but he said lock them all up, and then the chants grow. So essentially, the reason I pointed out Governor Whitmer does feel there is a connection to the types of anti-Whitmer rhetoric, and then the threats that actually come to her. So there is some real implication for that. But also it's just it is a common thing for Trump, basically, where he says something, stirs the pot a little bit, other people start saying something, and then he goes off of what they say and then allows them to get that momentum, and then he basically denies it later on. And even when it's in black and white, saying, well, everyone's saying lock her up, I didn't say lock her up, which is true. He didn't. He said lock them all up. So it's a very childish type of a response. So literally he's correct, but in reality he's lying, as he is about many things. So there you go. That's T-9 countdown. T-8 to follow.